You should have stayed dead.
Dad?
There comes a time in every child's life where they realize that their parents are not gods. But what happens if your parent really is a god, but isn't a good one? Hi, I'm Georgia Dow, and right now we're going to be talking about the father-son dynamic in...
Guess who's finally getting his powers?
So Mark has waited all of his life to get his powers to become like his father.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Oh, that's great.
But when he finally gets his powers, his father's reaction is a little bit strange.
It's me, Mark. It's just me. This isn't how I wanted to do this, but I don't have a choice. It's time for you to know where I really come from. We had to remove the weak from our society. And now, we need to get Earth ready to join the Viltrum Empire. We can finally do what we were meant to do, be who we were meant to be.
You lied to me.
So that is his main, if you want to indoctrinate your children, this is not the way to go about it. But he also made the error of having him believe that his father was doing good, caring for the weak, caring for the sick. The only thing that Mark wanted was to be like his dad.
If it wasn't for you and me, this planet would be in flames. All we have to do is welcome Earth into our empire. I do love your mother, but she's more like a pet.
He made a huge error if he was hoping that his son would follow in his footsteps. And that makes you think, did he really want his son to follow in his footsteps? Because in order to do that, to culturally indoctrinate someone, you have to begin before the ages of 7. It becomes more and more difficult as the older we get. Our brain's pretty plastic all the way up until like 15, 16, and isn't fully developing until 24. We're pretty set in who we are at the age of 24. He raised a son that had the opposite values.
You couldn't know the truth. Not until you had your powers, not until I was sure.
What do you think is gonna happen? That I'm gonna go enslave my friends for a bunch of aliens I've never met?
You don't know what you're saying. And I can't let you interfere. So be it.
So I don't think that Nolan's way of explaining it to his son was really effective. Instead of saying, you know what, this is gonna happen either way, and I'm gonna be here to make sure that Earth stays safe and protected, and you can be a hero like me, and that's why we're trying to save Earth. He's beating him up in hopes that he's gonna have him join him.
Fine! What's 17 more years? I can always start again. Make another kid.
Like, if he really didn't care about him, why is he beating him up to a pulp now? Like, he can't actually stop him. He already knows that. So I don't even understand the point of them fighting. Nolan is so much stronger than Mark still. He could just leave him and do whatever he wants to on the planet, but he's angry with him.
Did you see that? Did you see?
Oh, that was amazing! So even though he's a Viltrumite, you can see that he has genuine affection for his son. He's going against a very strong system of indoctrination that has been for probably hundreds of years. And it's only a brief fraction of time that he's had this wife and this son. Cognitive dissonance is when a thought goes against your main frame of thoughts. When you believe something to be true and someone else tells you it's wrong. And you have this battle within your brain of having to change a belief system. It's gonna be hard for you, actually physically painful, to be able to change your belief. And the why for that is that we lived in a tribe where everything was always the same. So it made sense that once we made a rule to keep that rule, because that rule had already kept us safe.
Why did you make me do this? You're fighting so you can watch everyone around you die. Think, Mark!
This often happens in therapy sessions. And just in home life, where someone has done something horrible or wrong or something that they regret, and the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, why did you make me do this? They are not accepting responsibility for their actions. It would be the first thing I would call him out on, which would be, you're the world's greatest superhero. Can anyone stop you if you don't want to do anything? He'd be like, no one can make me do this. And then I would ask the question of, then why did you do this? Because no doubt you regret it. because that's why you said it was his fault instead of yours. Because it hurts you too much to accept responsibility for hurting your son.
What will you have after 500 years?
You, Dad. I still have you.
After all of the atrocities that he's done, his son still loves him. He has this unconditional love for his father. I think that's what breaks down Nolan's cognitive dissonance in the end. And it stops Nolan from having all of that indoctrination through all of his years of growing up. And that's why, instead of destroying his son, who could protect the planet and stop Viltrum from being able to take over this world, he decides to leave.
Mark got his powers so late, I wasn't prepared for this. I can't help but think maybe our lives would be better if he hadn't gotten them at all.
I think he actually liked his life. I think that him calling his wife even a pet was more of a way of trying to push him away from the atrocities that he's done and that she's so angry at him than is actually the truth. If you were Nolan, how would have you handled this? And did I miss any really important scenes? Hopefully you liked this video, and if you liked it, subscribe.